The sun was just beginning to rise over New York City, casting a golden hue across the skyline. Ella Lawson sat at her kitchen table, a stack of books and papers spread out before her. The medallion, which had become the center of her focus, lay on a soft cloth beside her. She was determined to uncover its secrets. Her phone buzzed with a message from Elias Montclair. He was eager to share his latest findings with her. Ella quickly read the message. "I've come across something interesting. Let's meet at the cafe near the bookshop." "I think we might be on the right track." With a renewed sense of excitement, Ella grabbed her notes and headed out. The cafe was a cozy, quaint spot, with wooden tables and shelves lined with old books. Elias was already there, seated at a corner table. He looked up and smiled as Ella approached. "Morning, Ella," he greeted. "I've been diving into some historical records, and I think we might have found a lead on the medallion." Ella set her notes down and took a seat. "I'm all ears." "What did you find?" Elias took out a folder and slid it across the table. "I discovered a reference to a legendary figure named Julian, a poet and scholar from the medieval period. He's mentioned in several texts as having created a collection of mystical artifacts, one of which might be the medallion we're investigating." Ella's eyes widened. "Julian? I've heard the name before, but I didn't know he was linked to artifacts like this." "Yes," Elias continued, "Julian was known for his deep knowledge of ancient symbols, and his connection to secret societies that preserved ancient wisdom. According to the texts, Julian created several artifacts believed to hold great power and knowledge." Elias pulled out a copy of an old manuscript and began to read. This particular document suggests that Julian's work was centered around creating objects that could reveal hidden truths about time and existence. The medallion you found might be one of these artifacts. Ella listened intently. So, the medallion could be more than just a beautiful piece of jewelry. It might actually be a key to understanding something profound. "Exactly," Elias said. "The legends say that Julian's artifacts were not only highly valuable, but also deeply connected to mystical and philosophical concepts. They were designed to offer glimpses into the nature of time and the eternal." Ella's mind raced with possibilities. What does the legend say about how these artifacts work? Is there a specific way to unlock their secrets? Elias consulted his notes. "From what I've gathered, it seems that these artifacts require more than just physical examination. They often involve rituals or special conditions to reveal their true nature. There might be clues hidden within Julian's writings, or in the artifacts themselves, that can help us understand how to access their deeper meanings." Ella nodded. "That makes sense. We should look for any references to rituals or conditions related to the medallion. Maybe there's something we missed." The two spent the next few hours going through historical records and old manuscripts, searching for any clues related to Julian's artifacts and the medallion. They found several references to rituals and symbols used by Julian's followers, but nothing that directly explained how to unlock the medallion's secrets. As they worked, Ella found herself increasingly intrigued by the legend of Julian. The more she learned, the more she felt that there was a deeper connection between the medallion and Julian's work. It was as if the medallion had a story of its own, waiting to be told. Elias and Ella decided to take a break and get some fresh air. They walked to a nearby park, discussing their findings and brainstorming ideas for their next steps. The park was peaceful, with the gentle rustling of leaves and the distant sound of children playing. "I can't help but feel that we're getting closer," Ella said, her eyes scanning the trees. "The medallion seems to be connected to something much larger than we initially thought." Elias agreed. "I have a feeling that Julian's legacy is still very much alive. We just need to find the right way to unlock it." As they continued their walk, Ella noticed an old bookshop on the edge of the park. Its dusty windows and weathered sign intrigued her. "Let's check out that bookshop," she suggested. "Maybe we'll find something that sheds more light on Julian or his artifacts." They entered the shop, greeted by the musty smell of old paper and leather. The shop was filled with rows of ancient books and manuscripts. Ella and Elias began to search through the shelves, hoping to find something that might help with their research. After some time, Ella found an old volume titled The Mystical Arts of Medieval Scholars. She carefully opened it and began to read. The book contained a detailed account of various scholars and their contributions to mystical arts, including a section on Julian. "Elias, come look at this," Ella said, her voice tinged with excitement. "This book has a whole chapter on Julian and his artifacts." Elias joined her, and they both read the chapter intently. It described Julian's involvement with secret societies that aimed to preserve ancient wisdom and mystical knowledge. The chapter mentioned that Julian's artifacts were believed to be imbued with powerful energies, and that they could reveal hidden truths through specific rituals. "There's a passage here about how Julian's artifacts were used in ceremonies," Elias said. "It describes a ritual that was performed to activate the artifacts and reveal their true nature." Ella's eyes widened. "This might be what we need. If we can find out more about this ritual, we might be able to unlock the medallion's secrets." The book also included illustrations of symbols and patterns used in the rituals. Some of them resembled the symbols on the medallion, which made Ella even more excited. "I think we're onto something," Ella said. "These symbols could be key to understanding how to use the medallion." They decided to take the book with them and continue their research. As they left the bookshop, Ella felt a renewed sense of purpose. The legend of Julian was unfolding before them, and she was eager to see where it would lead. Back at Elias's office, they began to study the symbols and rituals described in the book. They compared them with the symbols on the medallion and tried to identify any connections. The more they studied, the clearer it became that the medallion was indeed linked to Julian's mystical practices. It was becoming evident that the medallion was not just a historical artifact, but a piece of a larger puzzle related to Julian's legacy. Ella and Elias spent long hours researching and discussing their findings. The medallion had opened a door to a hidden world of ancient knowledge and mystical practices, and they were determined to uncover its secrets. As they worked late into the night, Ella couldn't help but feel a sense of awe and excitement. The legend of Julian was coming to life, and the medallion was at the center of it all. She knew that their journey was far from over, but she was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The echoes of the past were guiding them, and Ella was determined to follow the whispers until they uncovered the truth. The medallion's secrets were waiting to be revealed, and Ella and Elias were ready to explore the mysteries of time and eternity.